In this video, we're looking at an example of modeling a scenario with a linear function. And what we'll notice first is that there is another way we can kind of consider our linear function, which we normally think of as y equals mx plus b, when we're trying to fit a real world scenario into a linear function or find a linear function that models a scenario. It's sometimes easier to think about the slope as being the average rate of change, or how the function is changing, and the y-intercept as being the initial value, or where the value of the function basically starts. Let's look at this example. Suppose that a company just purchased some new office equipment at a cost of $2,500 per machine, and the company chooses to depreciate each machine using the straight line depreciation method over 5 years. So we're looking to find a linear model that represents the value of each machine as a function of its age. And let's just start by saying that we're going to let the variable v be value and the letter x be representing the age. And so what we're ultimately going to be seeing is that the value depends on the age, and this is what our linear function is going to look like. Now we are interested in determining how quickly the value is changing, but also the initial value. And the initial value of this machine is given to us in the problem that the cost of the equipment was $2,500, so that was the value initially. When we talk about the initial value, that's also considered to be when the amount of time is equal to 0. And so knowing that time is equal to 0 corresponds to a value of 2,500, we can actually come down here and plot a point on our linear function. Remember, we're basically looking for the linear function that represents the value of the machine that depends on the age. So that means that our y values are going to be representing the value of the machine. So let's say value is this vertical axis. We'll even label it v of x if you like. The horizontal axis is going to be representing the x values, or the age of the machine. And once we've identified that the x is the age and the y is the value, we can also think about an ordered pair that occurs on this graph is going to be one that the first coordinate is representing the age of the machine, and the second coordinate is going to represent the value of the machine. And since we know that the cost of the machine was $2,500, that's when the age of the machine is 0, right? That's when the machine is brand new. So we end up with the ordered pair where age is 0 and value is $2,500. So we actually get a point on our graph from knowing that the initial cost, or the initial value, was $2,500. And notice that's on our y-axis, so that's going to correspond to that y-intercept. So we can see how that initial value is corresponding to the y-intercept. Now we have to determine how quickly that value is changing, or what is the average rate of change. The company chooses to depreciate it using the straight line method over 5 years. So let's think about what this statement means over on our graph. To depreciate the machine over 5 years means that after 5 years, the value of the machine is essentially 0. To depreciate it over an amount of time means that the value goes down to 0 at that amount of time. So when x is equal to 5, the value is equal to 0 tells me that I've got this ordered pair at 5, 0 here. And since we are depreciating this using the straight line method, it basically means that we're going to connect these only 2 ordered pairs that we've been given with a straight line. And we know that if I'm going to try to find the equation of a line, then I actually need 2 things. We need any point, and we have the y-intercept here, so that's actually a bonus. And we also need the slope, which is the same thing as the average rate of change. Now, we don't have the slope of the line, but we do have 2 ordered pairs. And so we can calculate the slope, or actually, let's go ahead and call it the average rate of change. It's the same thing. We can calculate the average rate of change by saying y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and so our average rate of change in this case is going to be negative 2,500 over 5, or the average rate of change is negative 500. So we determined that the average rate of change was negative 500, so that's going to go right here, which is going to then be multiplied by my independent variable x, and the initial value was 2,500, so that goes right in here, and this is our value function. Now, before we go on, I do want to take a quick look at the average rate of change being negative 500 and what that actually means. Remember that this average rate of change is essentially calculated by looking at the change in value over the change in time, and the change in value is a quantity that is measured in dollars, right? And the change in time is a quantity that is measured in years. So when our average rate of change turns out to be negative 500, we can think of that as being a quantity over 1 and being negative $500 per year, or the value is decreasing by $500 per year. And that kind of makes sense, because if we come back over here to our graph and we started off with a value of 2,500 and we ended up with a value of $0 after 5 years, then it must have been decreasing by $500 every year. Okay, so our average rate of change tells me how much the value is decreasing per 1 year's time. So what is the implied domain or the practical domain of the function? Well, we can kind of come back over here to our picture and see that it doesn't really make sense for me to talk about time being less than 0. So our time is measured by the x quantity, and since x is the age, we really think that x equals 0 is going to be our smallest x value. And we also don't want to really think about the value of our function being a negative value. So we're going to stop this at x is equal to 5 and say that really the practical domain is going to be from time is equal to 0 to time is equal to 5, and that over this domain is where this linear model for the scenario makes sense. Outside this practical domain, the linear function doesn't really make sense to model the scenario. So we'll say that the implied domain is from 0 to 5, and we could also say that's from 0 to 5. And what is the value of the function after 2 years? So we plug 2 into our value function. So we'll say negative 500 times x plus 2,500, and we're going to plug 2 in right here so that we end up with negative 1,000 plus 2,500, and so the value after 2 years is going to be $1,500. So let's put our units on that and box it up as our answer. When will the value be $500? So I'm going to come down here to have a little bit more space. When means after how much time? And remember, our x value is the age of the machine, so we're looking to figure out how much time passes when the value is 500. Well, we're given the value, so we can basically plug 500 in for value over here to the left of the equal sign and then solve for x. So we're trying to figure out the x that makes that happen, right? So we will subtract 2,500 from both sides to solve for x, and we'll get negative 2,000 here and negative 500x here. These cancel. And then when we divide both sides by negative 500 to completely solve for x, we see that x is equal to 4, and let's put our units of years on there as well. Remember, always indicate your units, so 4 years. And then graph the linear function. We've already done that, and let's just pop it right here to say that the linear function that we found was negative 500x plus 2,500, and we did graph that function down here, so that would be the answer to the last question.